Yeah.
Oh, no, there it is. Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our inaugural real estate podcast, where we talk about all different kinds of things affecting the Nova Scotian market. So we'll be talking about things ranging from mortgages to real estate, investing, many different types of things, specifically as they relate to the Nova Scotia market. And today with me, I have Mehakpreet Singh with ACL Mortgages, and he's going to give us some great information about the lending process and also some good tips for new home buyers. So Mehakpreet, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Philip, for inviting me, and I wish you all the best for this great work that you initiated, a podcast, and giving information to the people out there. And about me, I'm an associate mortgage broker with ACL Mortgages, and ACL Mortgages is from last 25 years into the business, and we deal with the first-time home buyers, refinances, with the investors, and we also provide commercial service if you are looking to buy a commercial property, income-generating assets. So we help in all kind of finances, and yeah, that's pretty much about it.
And your offices are in Dartmouth.
Yes, we have our offices in Dartmouth. We have our office in Ontario, Mississauga, Brampton, and we are live in 5 provinces as of now, and we are going Canada-wide this year.
Just before we go on, I want to mention that the first time I met you, something that really struck me was you said every morning you get up at 5 a.m. in the middle of winter. And I think the day I came to your office, it was terrible weather. It was snowing outside.
Yeah.
And I said, did you go to gym this morning? And you said yes. And I was just like, that demonstrates a level of dedication. So guys, Miak really does go the extra mile. I've had personal experience working with him as a realtor and a mortgage broker. I think one of the things we all look for is contactability.
Exactly.
So we look for an answer, not immediate, but within a reasonable amount of time.
Exactly.
It could be by text or voice, depending on the deal and the urgency of that.
And we always try to answer all the queries that comes to us,
Yes.
so that we provide initial answers to you or your clients, so that they are not left with waiting for our responses from us for 2 to 3 business days.
Yes.
We try to provide like within an hour or 2 hours we respond back and solve the queries, because when you are dealing with a first-time home buyer, they are you can say very fragile, and
Yes.
they don't know much about it. And if some lawyer has some question and which they don't know the answer, and they get panic.
Yes, I've seen that
they
before.
try
You're
to-
100% correct. Yeah.
So you have to answer them. You have to answer all their queries, whatever, because that might be a simple question from a lawyer to the client, but client feels like what I have to sell, like nobody told me. So they try to reach out to the realtor or they reach out to their broker.
Yeah.
So that's where your communication plays a great role, that you are available for them. And this is, sometimes it's a month and a half process from, start to the end.
Start to the end.
So you have to be with them at every...
You hold them by the hand along the way.
Yes.
And to Mehakpreet's point, I do find very often that buyers and sellers will ask us questions which don't always necessarily relate directly to the service we provide to them. We can't really go out of our lane. So if it's a legal question, we can't comment on that. But we certainly can put them in touch with the right people or give them simple answers to put their minds at rest, particularly the new first-time home buyers when they're coming in and they're a little bit unfamiliar with the process. So what would you say is the single best piece of advice you could give to a first-time home buyer if they're just starting out?
So I would say, for a first-time home buyer, it would be a very overwhelming, situation when it comes to buy a house. So for them, it's very good to have a good realtor on their side,
right,
a good mortgage broker on their side who will guide them through the process. And apart from giving information to them from us, they should also be doing their research on their end.
Yes.
Because it's very important. It's nothing like, it's you're not leasing an apartment. Like if something goes wrong, you're just calling your landlord or things like that.
Right.
So you have to be self-sufficient and try to research around it, pros and cons and everything. Surely, we as a professionals try to give them as much as information we can, but it's the responsibility of the buyer as well to do some homework from their side.
Absolutely. And that's where you give them the guidance
Yes.
on every step of what they need to do next.
Right.
That's extremely helpful. And that was my experience with you as well.
Yes.
Do you have that questionnaire, the initial questions that you send out to prospective buyers?
Exactly. So how we structure our initial meeting, we call it a discovery call.
Yeah.
So we try to, sit in person with the clients. If in person is not possible, we try to sit on a different virtual platforms.
Right.
So that when you're face to face, talking to each other, there are a lot of things that you counter question and get to know about the situation. Sometimes people don't know if this information is relevant for us or not, but they think like mortgage broker or realtor doesn't need to know, but sometimes we need to know.
We absolutely need to know.
Yeah. And so it's always great to, we are doctors in a professional way, like financial doctor, you can
Right.
say, right? So as you should never hide anything from your doctors, same way you should never hide anything from your realtor or mortgage broker.
Right.
Because sometimes on the very initial steps, those things don't create trouble. But when you go near to the closing, that thing might come up, and then you are
It's good to have all the information.
Yeah, it's good to have all that.
And just to put everyone's mind at rest, in all of our respective industries, we have strict privacy clauses. So whether you're working with your mortgage broker or your realtor or your lawyer, that information is exclusive between you and the professional.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually have, during the process of providing the documents to you, there are clauses in there talking about privacy and how your information will be used. So I know a lot of buyers will just skip past that and just sign up on the forms. I try to bring everyone's attention to that because it is important. You don't want a surprise later on where somebody is asking about being spammed or their information being given out. That is not the kind of thing we do. We have a strict code of ethics in all our respective industries on protecting client information. So a question I often get asked is how to build credit as a newcomer. I'm working with a client at the moment with a credit score of, he didn't give me the exact number, but he said it was below the necessary amount to get the mortgage that he wants. So working with clients who are trying to qualify as newcomers, they sometimes ask how to build up their credit score. And there are a few good ways that can be done. But Mehak, I'll pass that over to you. What advice could you give to newcomers looking to build up their credit score?
So that's a great question, and why it is an important question, because people come from different countries or continents, and credit is not same everywhere. So some countries are cash oriented. They never have been, into debts, or credit cards is not a thing there. So when they come here and they say, okay, we only use our Visa cards. They only use their debit cards. They never go and buy a credit card, or they never accept an offer to have a credit card, line of credit, or things like that.
I've seen some people just using cash.
Cash, yeah. So, but here in Canada, everything is revolving around your credit and credit score.
Right.
So if your credit score is good, so that means you are at very ease. And at the same time, for the first, new to Canada, they should not, think that this is a free money. Credit is a free money. Use your credit card and throw it away. You never have to pay. So you have to be very responsible. And if we talk about how to start building up a credit score, so the answer to that question is you should start with opening up a credit card with one bank, with UR. And, when you effectively manage that credit card, spend 60% of it, and once your statement is out, pay that off. And repeat this cycle, your credit score will start to build up. And when it comes to a mortgage, when somebody is new, banks always like the people who have at least, 2 credit cards or line of credit open, because they want to see your habits. Are you in a habit of using a credit and paying it off?
Right.
They want to see the history. So that's how there is a components in your credit score. So it is credit utilization, number of lines of credit open, So you have to be start with one credit card, open another credit card, spend
Not
both.
at the same time. You open one,
Wait
work
for
with it a little
6 months,
Right.
then go to a different institution and get your line of credit open there.
What about vehicle finance? Would that be a good thing to have as well to build up
Yeah,
credit?
vehicle finances also shows your habit of paying debt off, right? If
Right.
you have a car and that car you are paying monthly, payments on time, you never missed a payment, that everything gets recorded in your credit report. When lender sees that, okay, he has managed a debt of, say, 5,000 for a credit card and 25,000 for a car, and they see, okay, now we have to lend this person, say, 500,000. They feel comfortable. But if there's another person who only have one credit card of $1,000,
Yeah.
and he has making only minimum payments there, and sometimes he missed those payments as well, and they don't know how to manage that credit. Even that's a very small $1,000.
Yeah.
So, but when a lender has to assess your file, that gives a very bad impression of you. Like they will see like this person is not able to maintain even $1,000 credit. How would he manage a mortgage for 500,000?
Right. And I think there's a limit at which they want you to be indebted. So on the credit card, I believe I read somewhere that it was about 30%. You shouldn't have more than about 30% utilization on each of your credit cards before you pay them back to maximize the return on your credit score.
Yes. So use up to 30, 40, 50 and don't go like full utilize.
Right.
Like if you have a, say, $1,000 credit card, don't spend full 1,000. It means you are more relying on a credit. So you have to be very strategic in that. Use, say, 30% utilization. And sometimes people don't know that only get recorded once you have a statement which says you have a 30% there.
Yes.
Sometimes what we do, we used a credit card and we pay that next day. That is in nowhere of records. So to record it, make sure it's noted in your statement. Once it's out and you get notification from your bank that your credit card statement is out, then pay it off.
It speaks to a certain way of being very financially aware of what's going on with your accounts. I certainly don't pay that close attention to my accounts, but I do think that it's almost like a recipe that you can follow to tune your credit to a point where you can get a better interest rate with a better credit rating as well.
Yes. So like when banks see somebody with 700 plus credit score, they are very happy to have those clients in their books.
Right.
And one important thing, always regularly there are certain different applications or those service providers who give you free of cost your credit reports. Always, look at your credit reports each month because there's a lot of things like people have the same names and there's credit mismatch. So,
Oh gosh, I don't need that. They can match me to somebody with a great credit record.
but that's not always the case,
Yeah, it could go the other way.
If somebody
Yeah.
is with, same date of birth and the same name, and
Yeah.
your credit cards can be, and if you are not in the habit of looking at your reports very often,
Yeah, you wouldn't be
you
aware
get to
of
know
that.
when you are in the process of buying something, and then you have to wait or you have to go back to them, file a complaints, and get it resolved.
A very important question, and that reminds me of that. This particular client who was having some trouble with their credit score through no fault of their own, they haven't mismanaged anything. They believe that they've been assigned an incorrect credit score. It might be because of underutilization, but if they want to appeal it, do you know the process for that?
Yes, it's always very easy. There are, Equifax or TransUnion, two companies
Yeah.
who, to whom your banks or lenders report your credits. And if something is wrong, and I would also tell you, Equifax is the most common used by each and every lender. So try to look at your Equifax score reports.
Right.
And if something is wrong, they have a very simple process to file a complaint or raise a complaint, dial their toll-free number,
Yeah.
tell them your situation, like this has happened, and I don't owe this debt, but it's still showing on my credit. They will give you the process. They will ask you to send the documents. Once they verify everything, they will remove it from your credit score.
How long does that process take? Do you know more or less?
Anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 weeks.
Okay, so that's not too bad to
But
get it.
if you get to know at a very last moment, this might be a deal breaker
It
for
might
you.
be a deal breaker.
Yeah, you have to wait till 2 months to get it
You
resolved.
could lose the house that you offered on.
Yeah.
Okay. So perhaps that's something they need to look at long before they ever offer on a home. Make sure that your credit is
Yes.
good, and then make the offer once you're
Exactly.
assured that it is. So another thing that I wanted to chat to you a little bit about was the Nova Scotia down payment assistance. We chatted about the newcomers and how they can build their credit score,
Right.
but we also have some offerings, local offerings, which can help newcomers get into the market.
Exactly. So sometimes down payment is the thing that stops people from buying house.
Yeah.
Because they are new and they have their other expenses, they are settling down, and they sometimes don't have down payment saved up with them. And to promote housing, Nova Scotia government has a great program that's called Down Payment Assistance Program. They help the people who don't even have 5% saved up for the down payment. What they do is they give you that 5%, and your 95% is given by your bank, and then you have the whole 100% of your purchase price. And the great thing about this is that 5% is interest free. So you don't pay any interest on that amount, but you have to repay that amount.
Right, and they include that 5% as a small payment over
Yes.
10 years, is that
Yes.
right?
So that amount is payable in 10 years.
Right.
So you can simply have a simple calculation, like divided by 10, and then to make it monthly, divided by 12. So that's your monthly payments for that.
And they
down.
add that onto your mortgage every month.
Yes, on top of your mortgage.
On top of your mortgage.
But that will go to the government.
In order to qualify for this, what would a newcomer need to show?
For a newcomer, it's just very simple. They will ask for your recent employment letter, your pay stub. They will pretty much the same documents your lender gonna ask. They will
Yeah.
ask the same documents, but there are some eligibility criteria for that. Your household income should be less than 145,000.
145,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and the purchase price of the house should be less than 570 in HRM.
Okay.
And if you, like, Nova Scotia is divided into 3 different, eligibility criteria. So that's 570 for HRM, then you have 300,000 for, areas like Truro, New Glasgow, and here. And if you go to the Kentwell side, so they have 350, I believe. I'm not sure on that one, but that's
350, around 350.
more
We-
than
we can check
300,000.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
we need to check on that exact amount.
Right. So that's really useful because very often I do have folk, they're both working jobs, good careers, and they're just struggling to get that down payment.
Yeah, and we have alternate solution to that as well. So sometime, for any reason, you cannot fit into that criteria of down payment assistance program. So we have great lenders who give you financing for whole 100% of your purchase price.
Okay.
So they have it's a whole lot of different conversation. So they look at your profile, they look at your income. If your income is able to service the whole 100%, they even give you 100% financing for your house.
100% financing.
100%.
No down payment.
No down payment. You just need to have closing costs by you.
Okay, we are definitely having a conversation after this.
Yes, for sure.
I feel like I'm fidgeting. I keep forgetting that this isn't live.
No,
Can I just say that I think you guys are doing great?
Do you think
It's
so?
very natural.
Okay,
it's
thank you.
You guys seem to have completely forgotten about the cameras and your interaction.
Oh, I don't know. I think we know they're there.
No, I think you were thinking about the cameras, if that's the case.
Oh, I'm sorry about that then.
I guess apart
Yeah.
from that,
Oh, yes,
from taking it to first time, we can also talk about how strategically we can help clients in a different situations. Like we discussed the situation in which, client didn't have the down payment, but
Right.
they have a property with equity sitting in there.
Yes.
And they want to purchase a new house. So how we can effectively use
Leverage that
that
equity from the other
and put
property.
take 10 to 20% out from that and
Right.
purchase a new property with that. So eventually, you are not putting anything, from your end. So you can ask me that question so we can explain this.
I think you've just answered it. We can just put that in.
Okay, that's if that's the
good?
possible,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I agree with that.
So it
Yeah.
like
Well, I can re-ask it, and then you can
Exactly,
just retell
so-
it. Okay. What are the other ways that people can leverage perhaps existing assets or property in order to buy additional homes?
yes. So a lot of people don't know that. Sometimes they are sitting on a lot of equity in their current residence, and simply they just want to upgrade to a new or a bigger house because of their personal situation change, or they have a big family now. So how, as a brokers, we can help them if they don't have down payment there? So we can help them to take the equity out in their first property that they own,
Right.
and take that equity, say you get 20% out of that for the new purchase, and put that borrowed money as a down payment to the new property. And in that way, you technically don't have to pay anything out of your pocket, and you can purchase a new property and you can rent out your, old property. And the beauty in this is the old property, whatever that is gonna rent out for, we can use that as your income to qualify for the new house.
For the new house, even though you don't have a concrete lease in place,
Yes.
you just look at the market rents,
We look at the market rents,
and you'd
we
have a
can use
rental
that.
appraiser come in to do
And
that
it
for
will
you.
increase your affordability there.
Understood. With the 20% down payment on the second property, is there any way you could do a 5% on the next property if it was called maybe a holiday property or a legitimate vacation property?
So yeah, there is a lot of confusion among the buyers about this 5% thing. So people think this 5% is only for the first time home buyers, but it's not like this. You can go with 5%, 10% down payment if you are going to buy that property for your primary residence. Say, today you live in Truro and you're working in Truro and you bought a property in Truro for 5% down.
Right.
And now, after 1 year, you plan to move to Halifax and you are settling here for your new job and everything, and you have to buy a new property, but otherwise you have to put 20% down. But if
Right.
you are going to use that property for your primary residence, you can still put 5% down there.
Okay.
It has to be a logical reason why
Right.
you are purchasing second property with 5% down.
Okay.
And that has happened with one of my recent clients, and we explained, because this property was bought, it was like just 7 months. Like, this property was bought, and it's not logical to sell that property because you end up losing money on that. So
Yes.
it's beneficial for my client to rent that first property and buy another property and live there, because
With the correct justifications
with
of
correct
that,
justification.
and that's
And
the primary residence.
It's not 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
If you have a reason for that, and it's
Yeah.
a genuine reason, you're not fooling them and buying investment
course not.
properties with
Yeah.
5%. That's
Yeah.
not for someone that.
Yeah.
But if there is a genuine reason, you're relocating for your work, or you are relocating for your job or something like that, you can buy.
For the 5%.
And with that, one of your vacation properties can also be bought at 5 or 10% down.
Okay. Even though that's not your primary property, it's a vacation
Yeah,
property?
it's a vacation. If it's a cottage you are looking to buy,
Yeah.
you can buy that cottage with 5% down, and that's called your vacation property.
Okay, so there would be certain criteria to class something as a cottage, because I've seen some cottages that look like complete homes. I mean, beautiful, finished out. And,
vacation property could be anything. Cottage is one example.
Right.
But say, you're very fond of going to Yarmouth for your vacations or something, and we can help you buy that second vacation home as under 5% down.
5% down. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really good to know. So I think that's some really valuable information to our listeners. I'll admit that I had some confusion around that as well. So thank you for clarifying that for us, Mehakpreet.
Thank you.
Another question I sometimes get is buyers that are particularly buying now, where the interest rates have been high for a little while, they're wondering when those rates are coming down. And some people are holding back. Some people are dipping their toe in the water and think, well, maybe we should go for it. And a lot of people will ask, maybe we can buy now and switch our mortgage out later on. So would you advise clients to do that? When would you advise a client to switch their mortgage, maybe to a different lender, or perhaps renegotiate with the same lender?
So switching is switching comes when your first term comes to an end. So say when you bought your home, you went for a 3-year term, that's a fixed year interest rate. So when this 3-year term ends, so this is a golden opportunity for you to shop around. Okay, so you can talk to your mortgage broker. Okay, what's my previous lender is offering me? And do we have anything better than that in the market? And if that's possible, your broker can help you, to switch your mortgage to a lender who is offering you better terms and better interest rates. So that's always a good to consult and just give a call to your broker. And also, if you have built up your equity and you want to refinance your property, and that's also a great time when your term ends.
Yes.
You can refinance your property
All in one, yeah.
All in one. And nowadays banks have very great products like home equity line of credits. So you don't actually pay anything on the extra amount you borrow until you take it out.
Right.
So say your house when you bought it was worth 500,000. Now after 5-7 years, it's 750 or 800,000. So you have that equity build up there. So at your renewal, you can have, previous mortgage going on as it is, plus a line of credit attached to your same property. So and that's also at a cheaper rate from unsecured line
Right.
of credits you get from banks or your credit cards. And sometimes I have seen my clients buying cars from that line of credit because
Right.
automobile dealers or the banks are providing 9 or 10% interest rate.
That's probably not the best thing to do, buy vehicles with home equity.
So, sometimes it's good because and very important part in that. Say you have a home equity line approved for 200,000,
Yeah.
and you want to fix 50,000 out of that. So you have the option to fix that 50,000
Right.
into a fixed mortgage, and start making principal and interest payments on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely some really good advice there. Just one last question on that. Is there a penalty for switching mortgages, and the bank or the lender that you're moving to, would they offer any incentives to switch to them, like maybe paying that penalty for you if you switch over?
So when the term ends, that's why it's a great period, because there's no penalty at that time if you move.
Right.
And when you switch to a different bank, banks have different promotions at a different time. So they pay your, cost that comes to switch. Like you have to go through a lawyer to change your liens and everything on it. So lenders cover those costs. They also, because sometimes you have to go through what we call appraisals on the
Right.
property because they want to see how much it is worth now. So banks also pay for that appraisals. So that's a golden opportunity to look around what best you can get. Don't just simply go to a bank or receive a document for renewal and sign it back and
Right, which a
just
lot of people
read.
just do.
Yeah. It's I know everybody is busy with their works and they feel comfortable signing off and okay, we are paying, doesn't matter to us. But giving a call sometimes would be a great opportunity.
Would be a great opportunity. So Mehakpreet, what I really liked with my experience with you and a mortgage is how you explained everything in the document. Being that I am in the industry, I'm obviously more familiar with the jargon in the contract.
Right.
But I think that is of so much value to people to have someone spend the time with them,
Exactly.
go through the contract, read the fine print, and know exactly what you're signing up for.
Exactly.
So I think that's covered everything for today. I want to thank you so much for coming in.
No, thank you so much for inviting me.
If people are looking to get in touch with you and get a mortgage, where can they find you, Mehakpreet?
So I am available on all the social media platforms. You can search me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and apart from that, if you want to, I'm just a call away, and I try to, answer my calls, and you can reach out to me at my direct line. That's 902-223-9813, and our office is at 99 Wise Road, Dartmouth, and we are open for walk-ins as well during our, working hours. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We are
And if you're lucky, Miak will give you the rooftop tour. That was pretty good.
So yeah, we have a rooftop tour, which is complimentary with the mortgage.
Complimentary rooftop tour. So thanks again, Mehakpreet.
Yeah, nice.
And I'd love to have you back on
thank
another
you.
day, and we'll talk more about mortgages.
Yes, there's a lot to talk.
There's so much to talk about. I feel like we can make a video about each one of these points that we discussed.
Yes, for sure.